Okay, so the next group, these are difference of squares problems. You are going to need to be able to identify these without them being sectioned out. So it's not necessarily going to say factor the difference of squares. You're going to have to find it. What we know about difference of squares is that it's a difference, so you're going to see a minus in the middle. And it's squares, so it's going to be two square terms. You're only going to have two terms if you have a difference of squares. So looking for two terms is a good step. Looking for a minus in the middle is really helpful. And then what you do to do the difference of squares is set up your two sets of the parentheses and then break up your two squares. So x squared is x times x. 4 is a perfect square. It's 2 times 2. And this only works with perfect squares. So 4 is 2 times 2. And then the way difference of squares work, you need to have one positive and one negative in the middle. And that order doesn't matter. 15 looks a ton more complicated, but it works exactly the same as 13. I'm going to go a little out of order. 64, again, in your calculator, if you're not sure that if that's a perfect square, you just want to do square root, which is under functions, miscellaneous. Oh no, I'm sorry, square root isn't there. Square root's it's right here, right next to your ABC button. Square root of 64. Square root of 81, that's the other number in our problem. So 64 is 8 times 8. 81 is 9 times 9. I think it's helpful to write that down. And then x squared is x times x. Now, if you have something like this where you have 64x squared, you have to break that up and put 8 and the x together as the first term. And then 81 is 9 times 9. And then you need one positive and one negative. I'm going to do the other order that time just so you can see that it also works. So 14 looks like a difference of squares, but 5, if we take the square root of it, is not a perfect square. So if you think that you have a difference of squares, what you might need to do first is GCF. So let's do 125 divided by 5 and see if we can get that out of there. So if we GCF out 5, so 5x squared divided by 5 is just x squared. 125 divided by 5 is 25. And now, in our parentheses here, this guy is a difference of squares. X times x, and 25 is 5 times 5. So really the hard part with difference of squares is recognizing it. Once you have it recognized, then you just need to do a little bit of math on your calculator. 16 is not a difference of squares because it's not a difference at all. If a problem is not factorable, we call it prime.